All right, let's talk chain maintenance. When you rent the bike, if you're going to be gone longer than a few days and or your expected mileage on the trip is going to be more than 700 miles, I'll send you with the tools necessary to clean, lube, and check tension on the chain. Also to adjust tension if necessary. The lube that I'll be sending you with is the Motul Chain Clean, Motul Chain Lube, some rubber gloves. These are already used, but you will get a fresh or a couple of fresh pairs in the tool kit. You will also get a chain brush. You will also get chain tension tool that allows you to see if the chain tension is correct. An axle wrench with lever and a 13mm wrench for adjusting the tension on the chain. Rags, and you want to start by putting the bike on the center stand. If you're in an area that you don't want to get grease or oil on the floor or the drippings from the chain, you can place rags underneath it. If you're in a parking lot where it's not going to matter if there's a couple of spots on the ground, then that's fine. You don't have to put those rags in place. Put on your rubber gloves because the chain does get very black and dirty. This chain has already been cleaned and lubed, but I'm showing you this for the purpose of being able to explain the process. So the first thing you're going to do is open up your chain clean, make sure the bike is in neutral and on the center stand so that you can freely move the rear tire. You don't want to press the button very hard, just very small amounts of the chain clean. Small amounts until you get the chain cleaner on all of the chain, all the way around, on both sides of the chain. Every direction, all the way around. Get it well. This is the solvent. You don't want to get the solvent or the lube on the tire wheel. Once you get that on, take your chain brush, the 3-sided chain brush, put it on here. Don't ever turn the wheel in the direction where it can pull the brush, rag, or your fingers into the sprocket. You want to run the brush that way in all directions to loosen up all the grime on the chain from underneath, pressing in all directions. Multiple laps around. It doesn't take very long. Once you get it thoroughly brushed, take a rag, back and forth, back and forth. You want to get down inside the chain. You can see a lot of stuff's coming off of it, even though the chain was already cleaned and lubed. If you've run 700 miles, or if you've run through a rainstorm where the bike's gotten wet in a rainstorm, even if you haven't done 700 miles, you need to at least lube the chain after a rainstorm, because it does, or it will cause the chain to rust and prematurely fail. I appreciate your help in maintaining the bike. You're going to want to wipe your sprockets. To get all of the grime off of them. Once you have it completely wiped, swap over to your chain lube. Again, trying to keep it from dripping so much, just put enough on that it actually coats the entire surface. You can notice I'm not just pouring the lube down so that it's falling off, not a lot of lube falling on the rags. And then in this opening right here, a little bit of lube, because there is the swing arm cover that the chain rides on. I like to make sure that that gets lubed properly so that it doesn't wear that swing arm cover out. Once the chain is wet on all sides, sometimes you have to come around to the other side and get the other side of the chain just a little bit. And I can do it from the top up here, just so that side of the chain doesn't get rusty. And that's the chain lubrication process, cleaning and lubrication. After cleaning and lubricating the chain, you take the chain slack adjuster with the red handle facing down. The chain goes between these two studs, and then lift until that sits on top of the chain. Once this sits on top of the chain with these two studs, one on either side, below and one above the chain, it should come out to showing this indicator directly in line with the center. If it is too far to the left, then the chain is too slack. If it's to the right, the chain is too tight. You want to have the chain to be tightened so that it has plenty of slack, so that when the suspension moves, it doesn't over tighten the chain and stretch it, but also so that it doesn't start slapping around while you're riding, especially at highway speeds. So again, the chain goes right in between these two studs. Lift, set that on top of the chain, and you can see the indicator is perfect. It's right where we want it to be. But if it wasn't, this is what you would use to adjust the tension on the chain. There is a little bit of tolerance. I wouldn't think it would be necessary until the chain adjustment is all the way off. This center mark is all the way off of that center mark. So if it's just slightly off of it, that's fine. No need to do the chain adjustment. But if you don't feel comfortable adjusting the tension of the chain and it shows that the chain is loose, have somebody that knows what they're doing take it to a shop or something and have them adjust the chain. They typically don't charge a lot for adjusting chains, maybe 25 or 50 bucks at most. But it doesn't take but just a few minutes, but it is something that has to be done properly.